So can you dive into that a little deeper? What going through perimenopause and menopause, how are those hormonal changes shifting the sleep? I know for me, I with my aura ring and my home, I see my body temperature rise, and I didn't know that it was doing that until I started tracking it. And I noticed that that is when I wake up and I get very thirsty. I need some cold water to cool my body down, and then I'm able to fall back asleep. Thank goodness. Not a lot of people can fall back asleep. But what are these hormones actually doing during the night and in the way that they are disrupting our sleep?
Sure. I had alluded to earlier that sleep is a neurologic process, and it is one that has a very significant role in our neuroendocrine axis. That means my brain hormone axis. The thing that many people don't realize is our hormones like estrogen and progesterone are very, very active in the central nervous system and have a huge influence in even how certain receptors are expressed in the brain. When we look at the failure of this interaction related to perimenopause and menopause, what starts to develop are the difficulties in being able to fall asleep, stay asleep, the difficulties in our cognitive performance, which are only worsened by those sleep issues.
Mhm.
Estrogen and progesterone are going to influence how we cycle through our sleep. So we're supposed to do that non-REM 1, non-REM 2, non-REM 3, or our deepest stage of sleep, which is non-REM 3 or slow wave sleep, and REM sleep. And we're supposed to have a specific pattern throughout the night. As we go through these changes, we start to see that that cycling starts to change. We also see, which is very unique for women, is as we enter into menopause, because of these drops in these hormones, it also impacts our muscle tone. So, similar to how we see our body's muscle tone change with time, our upper airway tone changes with time. And
Wow.
women going through menopause are actually much more at risk of developing obstructive sleep apnea. However, they may not look like what most people think obstructive sleep apnea looks like, because we've painted this picture that it's generally men who are overweight with big, large neck. But unfortunately, the women who are very highly susceptible look like you and me: narrow faces, slim builds. However, our airway is nice and floppy and therefore collapsing and more likely to collapse during our REM stage of sleep. So, what do we
Mhm.
tend to look like? We tend to look like women who wake up earlier than desired, that 2 to 5 a.m., can't fall back to sleep, dissatisfied with our sleep. We tell our doctor and they tell us we have insomnia. We're complaining about our mood or our brain fog or our irritability. And we're told that, don't worry, that's normal. No, it's common. It's never normal. And it really is a matter of how do we address identifying the right problem and creating the right solution to really be able to power you through your day and your night.
Okay, so normal is not always good. And so I don't want to use that word, but what I've noticed is my children have a lot longer period of REM and deep sleep than I do. Is
Mhm.
that optimal for me to see a lower number, or is that just common and not optimal?
So, what you are referencing is something that I think is so important. When you're talking about brain health, there is a normal, what we call ontogeny, meaning pattern over time. When I'm a little baby, what I do is very different from what I do at 5 versus 15 versus 50. So, the ultradian cycling, meaning how we cycle through sleep at night, actually changes between our adolescence, adulthood to older adulthood. So, the fact that they spend more time in slow wave sleep compared to you is absolutely expected and is a healthy pattern to see, and something that is an expected pattern that you would see as you become